What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers. And being part of that team, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 500,000. So good to say that word, 500,000. Dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And we are excited to be here. As always, we're broadcasting live on March 21st. March is beginning to fade into the sunset, family. But we're okay. The time goes fast. Time goes fast. And you're not here for me, but just wanted to tell you, you are watching Primetime Live with Aisha and Lala. Aisha Case Daggers and Laura Lala Key. Aisha is not with us today. Lala's with us, and we have our always good friend, Dr. Tachi. And I need to know if Dr. Tachi is going to cam up or not. She's got to tell me in the private chat because I don't want to bring up and she's on getting my camera ready. So Dr. Tachi, you tell me in the private chat whether you're going to cam up. There we go. She's telling me, yes, she's here. So let me be official to say, welcome, Lala Key. Welcome, Dr. Tachi. How are we?
Oh, hello. Hi, Dr. Tachi. It's a great tonight.
Fantastic. You know what? Wherever she goes, she just brings that energy.
Yes, she does.
That positive energy.
Me or
yes,
Lala? You could be easily talking about Lala too.
Well, Jen Meyer says hello, everyone, and she says Dr. Tachi with an exclamation point.
Hey, Jen Myers, how are you?
All right. What has been going on, ladies? What's happening in your world?
I'm super excited. I completed my course that I will be now advertising by the end of mid next week. The official page will be up. I am teaching people how to use AI for photography for their own photo shoots, as well as creating video marketing for themselves. You should see some of the cute stuff that I've made for real estate agents. They're kind of snarky. Like I have one where you walk into a really nasty kitchen and the agent walks in and goes, I don't know how they want me to sell this.
Oh, damn. Well, no, you and Dr. Tachi should have another thing in common because Dr. Tachi, one of her longtime clients, is a real estate agent. So she knows about that world. Yes.
But agents really need to be seen. A lot of agents are afraid to get on camera. I've never been afraid because I've been singing since I was 3. But this is a way that they can put themselves out there and still be seen.
Dr. Tachi?
Yes, as soon as you said that, I'm like, I'm all for that. I've been working with my realtor. He's a friend and a client, Gary Lanham, this is the 9th year I've been working for him.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been doing his social media and shooting all his video, most of his videos. And really, I love working with him because he is very receptive to what's new. He got the nickname as the video realtor because I was like, no, we have to use video. He was like, okay. So we did that. And now he is AI certified. So he is both feet in. If you had 4 feet, it would be 4 feet in to the AI game. And so I'm really deep into AI and real estate because of that.
It's fun.
I have an idea, but I don't know if I should mention it now or offline.
You know you're going to mention it now. Go ahead.
Okay. Lala, if I'm in Lala's shoes, I'd say, knock, knock, knock on Dr. Tachi's digital door and say, hey, Dr. Tachi or Gary, would you come on one of my presentations for a few minutes and just show the positive impact AI has made to real estate agents?
Yeah, that sounds like that would be absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely. Yes.
Just a thought, because I can relate. Many years ago, my real estate agent, I was offered to her, you need to at least do videos of the inside of houses, video tours and all that. And she was all for it. And it was so far ahead of time for her. And they says, oh, you want to get in front of these other agents? Sure.
You know what really got us into the game, and I'm sure Lala can identify, during the pandemic when you could not do showings, but you still had listings. Gary and I talked, and he said, now, how am I going to, I said, oh, we're going to do a virtual listing. No problem. So I put together a whole presentation. We had video, and every Tuesday, we do a show every Tuesday called Tuesdays with Gary. So it became Tuesdays with Gary Live, and there was just a live person, and he had different topics, and it was amazing. So for just about a whole year, we did our Tuesdays with Gary Live because we also couldn't get together to shoot. So, but we could do this, we could do distance.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. Well, I ended up starting my business in 2006 with a little pink camera, a little pink Canon that you could string together things. And at the time, that's when that crash happened. And every other house, literally every other house, was a HUD home because of the foreclosures. And agents at the time who worked for HUD, only were required to put one photo up. And I knew nobody. We had just moved to Denver. I knew nobody. My family was home in Kentucky. I was like, how am I going to get business? I don't know anybody. I would take a day, me and my little pink camera. This is before even phones could do any of this. And I would go out and take all these photos of these homes. And at the time, Craigslist was hot. That's how I started getting my business. And the minute that those little cameras started being able to do videos, I would put a video up. So since 2006, I've been doing this thing.
Lala, great story. Question for you. Do you still have that camera?
I do.
Okay. One of these days, at the beginning of one of our shows, I want to see that camera.
I will find it. It's in one of my boxes, but I will find it.
And you know what? That's part of your story. And it's a prop.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Like many times when I have to share myself, introducing myself to an audience, I say, I got started with a laptop and I showed the blue snowball microphone that I used.
Oh, that snowball. Oh my goodness.
White, blue snowball. White, blue snowball.
I had from the blue
laptop,
Yeti,
microphone, this microphone, a dream, and that's it.
And the funny thing is they have since been, Yeti, Blue has since been acquired by, who's the people that make the Logitech? Logitech.
Oh, wow.
Quite some time ago. Because I have a soror who works for Logitech. And I remember when that acquisition was going through.
Interesting. Okay.
All these mergers, everybody owing. And at first people were like, really, I don't know if we want to get into this thing, but and then COVID really pushed all this stuff through because people did not, we were stuck. So people really then had to start jumping on.
Exactly.
Bought blue. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we go to break, there's some messages here. Jen Meyer says, Lala, clap. Also, Michelle Hayward says, hey, y'all.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hello, Michelle Hayward.
And Michelle says, I started with a Yeti Blue. There you go. So you've been in the game for a bit if you started with a Yeti Blue. You've been in the game for a little bit. We have someone else here saying, hey, hello, everyone, saying from you.
Hey, Miss Elise, how are you?
There you go. We're bringing everybody in and just
the folks are
family. Here. And thank you for the like on Facebook, Michelle. Okay, so before we get to break time, give us a win you've recently had. So Lala gave hers. She finished her course. Dr. Tachi.
Every day is a win.
Okay, there you go. We'll pick one.
Yeah, every day is a win. But yeah, like Lala, I've got some things that are ready to launch as well that I just need to do. And I'm thinking this week is the week to do it, or this coming week.
Okay.
So watch out.
There you
Stand
go.
by.
Stand by. Myself, I actually, for people who watch one of the shows I co-host and co-produce, so probably mostly hosting these days, is The Morning Vibe with myself and Ryan Knight. And Ryan Knight has an organization. Here's someone, I'm going to interrupt someone. Hey, Dr. Tachi. Hey, you, no. Hey, Paula and Dr. Vibe.
Yes, this is David Eccles. He is a Mediascope massive person, and the HU,
Howard
University. You know that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's my dad's graduate school. So my dad.
I love it. Well, that's my hubby.
Oh,
that's
wow.
my hubby.
Wait, I didn't know your husband was Bison.
Yes. Yes.
Well, blow me down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah. And there's those, okay, I'm not going to put up that. That doesn't make sense. I'm not going to put that one up. All right. No, but so Ryan was having his annual, he's the executive director of an organization called ACBN, African Business Network. So I think it's their 8th annual symposium today. And he had one of the things, and they were talking all about AI, everything about AI. All the major presentations. I said, man, Dr. Tachi and Lala should be doing something virtual at this event. I'm going to say next time, come on, guy. But he had a group of us facilitating networking tables. So we sat with a group of people for 10 minutes. Then we changed like 4 other tables. So we did like 40 minutes of tables. And it was interesting. I came and said, okay, what do you guys want to ask me? Just ask away. And then I said, hey, do we want to get in touch with you? I say, okay, here's my blink on my phone. Like 6 people reached out to me. So, oh boy.
Wow.
What do you mean, oh boy? That's excellent.
That is absolutely fabulous.
I'm actually, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the year, some people want to do it. I'm thinking of starting an online community, like
school.
I could.
Mighty Network.
If I was going to do a school, I'd be in collaboration with some other people because there's some areas that I don't feel fully versed to do, but at least start an online community. And it's interesting. Almost everyone I've shared this idea with, it's ladies that are saying, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, Dr. Vibe, you don't have to be as well versed. That's what a community is for. It's peer learning. In fact, I'm inside, in a few schools, but one of the school communities is AI filmmaking. Yeah, I'm a filmmaker.
Oh, you're in that one too? I'm in that one.
No.
Really?
Why don't I just take myself off screen and come back in about 20 minutes? All right.
That's why I do that. Yeah, but so that the one with Kimberly Offord, right?
Yes.
So that it is about learning the craft of it, and nobody is an expert per se because it's just so difficult. Even though people think you just have to write a prompt, believe me, it is more than that. So it's peer learning. So start your school, and then everybody can learn.
I'm building mine right now. I'm building mine right now.
I have one. I haven't put a damn thing in it yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, mine's there, but it's not like live yet. I'm putting learning how to put my little sections together. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. We'll just do the do, man. No, I had a lot of fun hanging out there. And they say, "Oh, are you leaving?" It says, "I have a show to do. Thank you. I want to make sure I'm prepared for my show." Enlightened Beings Love First says, "Hey, family. Okay. We are gonna go to a break.
Okay.
Break. We're gonna do some housekeeping. Then we're gonna chat about some things and got 1 or 2 new things for you viewers today. That's gonna do and get you some engagement, get your comments and opinions on things. So we will be right back in let's say 30 seconds. Here we go.
Check out Black Men Can Talk live on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern, where Dr. Vibe, Kofi Sadat, and Kofi Morris, where Black Canadian men come together to have real, unfiltered conversations about life, culture, and community.
Watch Black Canada Talking live on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern, where Dr. Vibe and Cesar Diva Musa give their takes and POVs on news stories from a Black Canadian perspective.
We are back, and I'm so excited for tomorrow. Cesar is going to be on, and Cesar is going to go all in on a number of different subjects, but definitely check it out if you can. Girlfriends Chat with Aisha, Lala, and Jill Jones. Old address is Patreon and also Substack. We're waiting for the YouTube release. I'm pushing gingerly to get that to happen. Primetime Saturday store. There is the link there. And then join our Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe at the vibe.show.com. There's a link there. And then subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. And hit the notification button, and also like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. If you want to advertise your business, product, or service on the show, please email me at dr.vibe at the vibe.show.com. Actually, one or two people are asking me about that today at the event, and I said, touch base with me on offline, not here. All right. Let's see. We got one or two more comments here. Okay, let's go to Regina. Says, hey fam, do glad you are doing a show tonight. We all need therapy after the past week. My mom's family is from Beirut. Oh, wow. And Israel is carpet bombing suburban apartment buildings along the city. Oh boy. She wanted correct. I'd say so glad. She didn't mean do glad, but so glad. Well, I can only speak for myself. I don't speak for anyone else. Even at the best of times, it's hard enough for me to speak for myself. We are praying for the safety with your family during this very challenging time. And we will leave it at that, which leads into our first conversation story. So what I'm going to do is give a little bit of background via our first story. So if I can find it, which I think I can, here we go.
Today, we're asking a hard question. The Pentagon is asking for more than $200 billion to fund the war in Iran. So who really pays the price? What just happened? According to multiple reports, the Pentagon has asked the White House to approve a funding request of more than $200 billion for the Iran war. A senior administration official says this is an extraordinarily high number, and it would come on top of money already approved for the conflict and broader defense spending. Some estimates say the war is already costing U.S. taxpayers nearly $900 million every single day when you add up operations, replacing weapons, and repairing damage. UVEEEWW. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has signaled the number could change, but the message is clear. They want a lot more money to keep this war going. Follow the money. $200 billion is a number so big, it's hard to feel. So let's make it tangible. While the Pentagon is asking for that kind of money, Congress still hasn't even formally authorized the war, and lawmakers are already uneasy about the scope and the strategy. Think about what that kind of money could mean if it was invested in housing, healthcare, education, mental health services, or violence prevention in our communities instead. At the same time, a lot of this war spending is unbudgeted. It wasn't planned, which means it gets piled on top of everything else and passed along to taxpayers and future generations. Said WAJ. So when we ask who pays the price, it's not just Iran, it's not just soldiers on the ground, it's everyday people who will never sit in those rooms where these decisions are made. Who really pays? For Black communities and for marginalized communities in general, this hits on a deeper pattern. There's always money for war, but somehow there's never quite enough for schools, for clinics, for safe transit, for small business support, for real investment in our neighborhoods. We're told this is about security, But what about the security of being able to pay rent, to see a doctor, to send your kids to a school that's not crumbling? If Congress signs off on this, they're not just approving a budget line, they're making a statement about whose lives and whose futures matter most. So, today, we want to hear from you. Do you believe this $200 billion request for the Iran war can ever be justified? And if so, at what cost and to whom? What would you rather see $200 billion spent on if you had a say?
Getting his ass at the White House.
You couldn't even wait until
Really?
you finished.
Like Lala was already just, well, oh my goodness. So folks, as you can see, Lala is ready to talk.
I am ready.
Our first conversation piece is Pentagon seeks $200 billion for Iran war. Who pays the price? I guess, Lala, you want to start. Go ahead.
I do. And I need y'all to settle in, get your popcorn, get your wine, because
okay.
this is a little much.
Tachi.
This is a little much for me. Now, here's where my disapproval gets really, really loud. And I'm being kind by saying that. Every time this administration wants to move at lightning speed, the Constitution suddenly gets treated like it's an optional reading thing, right? They absolutely act like that. Like you reading Cliff Notes. Let's get rid of that. Let's burn that too. It's time for a book burning. That's what they want to do. Now, listen, Congress is supposed to matter. War powers are supposed to matter. The American people are supposed to matter. But instead, we keep watching this administration move first and then try to justify later and then hand the bill to the American public. Like this is supposed to be normal. This is nothing normal. Nothing about this is normal. It's a disgrace. And it's the disgrace to our country that always says we're here to protect. And who pays the price? We do, the taxpayers. Service members do. And right now they're being disrespected. Our servicemen who have lost their lives are not even getting paid attention to. Hegseth lied and Trump lied and said the families didn't want them there. They didn't want to film them coming home. Why wouldn't they? And a father of a serviceman who died and served his country said, I don't know where he got that from because none of us said that. Listen, our domestic priorities are all out of whack. It's whatever orange shit pants wants to do with them. Every time this kind of massive war shows up and spending shows up, something else gets pushed aside, whether that's housing, healthcare, education, infrastructure, and basic honesty with the public about what this country can actually afford. This is how an empire works. It always finds money for war, and then it acts broke when people need help at home. Now, let's add this to it because this is tied in. Let's add in manpower to all of this. On March 20th, the Pentagon announced that it's extending the 1-year invitation for troops who have been separated over COVID and whatever else because of the mandate. Remember, they told them if they weren't going to take the COVID shot, they had to be kicked out, right? So they need them now. So they're extending this and saying that if you want to come back, come on. We got a place for you. And that's already setting a precedent. So it says there are nearly 8,000 active duty and reserve service members who were involuntary separated over the 500 days of that COVID thing, right? So they want them back. So let's make sure what this sets up. Let's be precise because precision matters. Unlike orange shit pants knows nothing about it. This is not a draft. We know that. That's what they say. The Selective Service still says there's no draft in effect. And restarting one would require a separate legal and a political process, which this administration doesn't abide by ever, has never. But people aren't stupid and they're not foolish. They're looking at this $200 billion war request when they didn't even call this a war. Remember? Before all this started, it wasn't a war. Now all of a sudden it's a war. They're looking at the expanded troop postures that are being done. We have boots coming on the ground. You can't tell me the boots ain't already on the ground. I already know there's boots on the ground. We're not stupid. But people know that all of this with Hegseth and them extending this, they know what's coming. There is going to be a draft enacted. Things are being set into place for that. Now, add one more freaking element to this. The resignation of Joe Kent, the former head of the National Counterterrorism Center and a staunch Trump Republican. Let me let that sink in for a minute. This ain't some woo-woo, la, la, la. This is our Trump, let me kiss your butt, I love you, man. Okay? He resigned this week over this war, saying that he can't support it because in good conscience, Iran posted no imminent threat at all to the United States. So that's not some random staffer wandering off into the sunset. This is an 11-time serving veteran. That's a senior national security official that's stepping down and effectively saying out loud that there's no justification for this war. And all this matters because it cuts straight to the administration's attempt to make this all look unified, righteous, and inevitable. If this case were airtight, the constitutional basis were so clean, if the threat were so immediate, you would not have to have a top counterterrorism official resigning in protest. More troops are moving into the theater and a fresh 200 billion. I did not say anything less than that. And don't think that's the final number, because that's always a starting point. And you're asking this of Congress when you didn't even go to Congress to get this enacted. So the real story behind all of this garbage is the Pentagon wants more money. The real story behind this war power keeps concentrating on them being in power for absolutely everything that they want to do. This is all theatrics. My man's going to do whatever he's going to do. He always announces what he's going to do, and then he does it. And then we're all left scrambling. So this is not constitutional. It's not a good discipline. And this ain't nothing but another power-grabbing flag pin. It's another don't watch the man behind the curtain moment. None of this is normal. I need y'all to stop pretending like you don't have power when you have power. There are more of us than there are of them. And now our young men and women are being marched off into an unjustified war and not giving any kind of respect when they serve the ultimate price. 200 billion? Baby, no. That's a starting point.
Okay, before I let Dr. Tachi, I'm going to let Lala breathe for a moment. Some comments here from, I think that she was waiting for that all week. She got it out. So Regina says a federal judge just ruled Hegseth throwing the Pentagon press he didn't like illegal. I did hear about that. And they have to be back in to cover the news. I smell a tantrum coming. And also says out. And then Regina also says, Lala, thank you much for your brilliant and righteous rant. Much appreciated. And before I let Dr. Tachi in, I'm going to launch a something today. So we got a poll. So do you agree with the Pentagon getting $200 billion for the Iran war? So wherever you're watching this, either press 1 or 2. Dr. Tachi, your time.
Thank you for joining us for Primetime Saturday. She's already said everything. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
That was hilarious. And so well done.
I will add some tiny things because she's already very eloquently said all of this. So yes, we pay. I don't know. Well, yeah, they probably realize or they don't realize, but in either case, they don't care. You are using the U.S. as a bank, the Treasury as a bank, and in the process, you are bankrupting us. Whenever you go and spend money that is not allotted to you, It comes out of somewhere, which means you are, and they're not even borrowing. Let's call it stealing, because you didn't ask permission. Therefore, it's stealing. When you go to the bank and ask for a loan, that's borrowing. When you just take it, that's stealing. So that's exactly what you're doing. You are setting us up to be indebted on top of the trillions of debt that we already have for generations to come. It's very, you were able to dismantle this in less than a year, but to build it back is going to take decades. And I think you don't, I know you don't care, but I also think you don't know, because you have to have a level of business acumen to understand that. And we already know that somebody who has been bankrupt, what is it, 7 times, I think, you don't have business acumen. Therefore, why would we expect you to have good business acumen when it comes to running the affairs of the country? But again, to kind of smooth over that, you go for the poorly educated. And so rather than being upset by the fact that you've called them poorly educated, I'm going to stick beside him. All right, dummy, stick beside him. And you all are dumb. I think part of the problem with all of this is that we refuse, those of us on the side of right, keep trying to reach across and think there's an ounce of humanity in these. There's not. So I don't care that old boy said in good conscience. What was your conscience before? Where was your conscience before? So it's very interesting that there is a line too far for these people. And in good conscience, now gas prices are like $2 more. Now I can't. Also, it was only gas that brought you to this point. So your conscience was absent before in your vacant heads. Therefore, anything you're saying now about you can't in good conscience means nothing. I don't care. And this goes for the people who may have been on that side and said, now I see the light. You're not on my side. I'm sorry. I don't trust you. Lots of us don't trust you. I wouldn't trust you as far as I can throw you, because you have shown me that you can't be trusted or believed. So why would I now all of a sudden, because it affects you now. I don't trust you. So please don't look for a band and a welcoming with a ticker tape parade coming over to this side. In fact, I would watch your back. That's all I have to say. Also,
okay. Keep on going.
Okay. I think that, what was the other, because I wrote this down, that, since you don't need Congress's permission to enact, you also don't need Congress's money. Go find the money yourself. Why are you now, as Lala said, why are you now coming to ask for permission? This is like, okay, you decide. We've seen these shows or whatever where they're like, you can't tell me what to do, Mom. I'm my own person. And then they run away and then they come back and like, can I have $200? This is exactly what that is like. This is like a very special episode of Different Strokes, and you lose. You lose.
Different Strokes.
Yes, Different Strokes.
Cue the music.
Okay. So this is exactly what this is like. So I don't understand why now you are seeking permission. Oh, it's because you don't have you started with, that's like going to the mall. Remember, you would go to the mall with your friends or whatever, and you think, but you don't have any money to buy anything. So now you have to crawl back and see or borrow from someplace else. But no, you took your big and bad self to the mall like you were going to buy a pair of Jordache jeans. What happened to your Come show me your Jordache jeans. You don't have them because you don't have the money. So since you don't have money, what's the thing we always buy? If you don't have money, then you don't buy anything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Second, sorry. One last thing.
No. Keep on going. I'm just sitting back. I'm just watching Lala's face. Bye.
Well, I know, because I was writing notes as she was saying so that I could say these things and wouldn't forget. So there are two things that were said. The Hegseth said you need money to kill bad guys. According to AP, he said you need money to kill bad guys. It's been shown that they said there was no imminent threat. This has been shown over and over and over. So there's a difference between there being a threat and the fact that you don't like an entity and or want their resources. Those are two separate things. Don't conflate the two. But the thing is, the disciples of these individuals will continue to, we need to kill the bad guys. But as soon as you start to, well, who are they and what was done? And but they have no answers because they don't know. But that's what happens in a cult, obviously. You know, when you actually drill cult members about things, they can't give you solid answers because they don't know. They've been blindly following. And then finally, the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, said this when he was asked whether or not he would he supported the amount, the 200 billion. He said, "I support what's needed to ensure that the American people remain safe. I support what's needed to ensure that the American people remain safe." Well, there was a point that this could have happened and it didn't. So what you're supporting is spending. You're not supporting us being safe. You're supporting spending. There's a difference. I'm finished.
All right, I know Lala may have something to add, but I want to catch up on comments and just flash the poll again. So Enlightened Beings Love First says, but it's not a war, big eye roll. And then Regina says, no to blank on Earth. And Enlightened Being says, missed which number for no was. I'll be showing the poll in a minute, but LOL, but I do not agree. Regina says 7 bankruptcies. She also says even dumb is starting to get it because it's hitting their pocketbook and gas tank. Also, Enlightened Being says, baby, you ain't welcome in my house after your Jesus came to Jesus eye opening. Another viewer says, the U.S. people. And then Regina says,
I know.
Jordan Jean, LOL. And then Michelle says, when Gen X speaks, be ready for a flashback.
Listen.
Okay. And I just want to share with everyone who's watching live, we have a poll going on here. So wherever you're watching this, do you agree with the Pentagon getting $200 billion for Iran war? So either press 1 or 2 in your comment section, and we'll keep you up to date on the poll. So
well, what's 1 and what's 2? You didn't tell them. You just said 1 or 2. Is it yes for 1
yes,
or
1? Okay, 1 yes, 2 no. All
but
right.
It's also on the screen if you're watching on yeah, we don't see it, but if you're watching on the screen,
it's on the screen if you're watching on most of the platforms that I'm brought. See, there we go. We have a vote there right there. A yes. So we'll keep everyone up to date. I see people are voting. All right. So we'll keep that, we'll bring that poll up in a little bit. So we want to get back to some more comments because I think okay, you know what? Let me just Lala continue with your commentary because I know you have something to add.
I love the voting.
So, okay, let me tell you something what they get ready to do. Let me tell you what they get ready to do. They're getting ready to manufacture something on our soil to force Congress to give them what they want. If you believe that people are going to attack California, Iranians are going to attack California, I got a bridge to set you. Because that's a setup right there to tell you that so that they can get what they want and blame others. Now, we already know they done lied about this Iranian school and these girls.
And how does that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
How does that make sense? Because I think we also have to, this is why I'm like, I don't think people are reading and sitting and thinking before they do things. The largest Iranian population in the US exists in California. Why would that be the place?
Because he hates that place. So,
well, I mean, for Iranians to pick that place, but do you hear? It doesn't make any sense. It's like we're hurting our own if we do that.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Do not think that you could put this past this administration. He's not getting what he wants, and he's actually seeing that people are turning against him. And that does kind of freak him out a little bit, because I don't think that he really expected this much of a pushback. He doesn't care. Yeah. He doesn't really care. And if your own vice president who was kissing your butt yesterday all of a sudden becomes this, oh, I don't know about this war. We told you a long time ago, vice presidents don't do well up underneath orange shit pants. You just don't. So he's trying to distance himself too. No, everything that they do is fabricated.
Okay. Got some more comments here. Someone says, since my birthday, no peace in the Middle East, but we say money is power. Huh. And then Michelle says, sell ya. Sell you in Southern.
Bridge to sell you.
Oh dear.
Let me ask, ladies, and I was driving there and I thought I'd ask both of you, how come 47's administration hasn't put so much investment in saving Ukraine?
He's in bed with Putin. And now Putin is turning around and stabbing him right in the back in front of his face by selling where we are, our military, to Iran. So no, he doesn't care about Ukraine, but I'm gonna tell you something else. Because Ukraine, Putin's got something over my man, and you know he does. That's all that's about. Okay. And then two, he really had the gall, the audacity to go to Ukraine and ask them to help when he has done nothing for them.
But isn't it ironic? Ukraine is helping out in the detection of drones because they're one of the best countries in the world in regards to drone manufacturing.
You got that right. But look at what he had to do.
Another question I have for both. Okay, Regina.
No, I know Dr. Tachi got something to say. What you got to say?
Bye. Shut my mouth. Gone. Go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
No worries. No worries. This is another example of individuals letting themselves be bullied. Now, not to blame Ukraine or any of this, but why anybody is cooperating with any of this malarkey is beyond me. And when we look at you're calling them monsters, the government monsters, but you helped to construct the monster. You fed them monster food. You sat there and let them play monster games. When they were bullying, you also collaborated in the monster So I don't want to hear it. When it comes to these things, we have to look at who's also in fault for all of these things. And I'm also pointing to members of Congress who sit there like, where? You are also at fault for all of this. We already know the GOP is at fault for these types of things, because even if they don't agree, they're too cowardly to actually speak up and do something. And then you have people on the Democratic side or the side of the Democrats who will also, well, let's reach across the aisle. No. So you just may be a GOP member in sheep's clothing and you still vote that way anyway, or you still side with them anyway. So there are so many people to blame for this predicament, but back to Europe, back to Eastern Europe, Western Europe, whoever is participating and saying, okay, I'm looking at you as part of this problem. So please, when the rain starts to fall, don't come to me for an umbrella. Stand there and get wet.
Update with some more comments here. Regina says, why did Taco lift the Iranian oil embargo from 1979? And I wondered about that. Why did he lift that bizarre? Well, money, obviously, and people are complaining about gas prices. Go ahead, Doctor.
Listen. I can't believe that there is this amount of rampant stupidity. I just really can't. I'm like, but isn't that who and couldn't they then they're going to profit from that sale, obviously.
Of course.
So couldn't then they take the proceeds from that and then do what you don't want them to do?
He's stupid. But y'all, listen, he's more than stupid. Let's be serious for a minute. This man is not mentally well.
something is wrong. Something is
There
definitely wrong.
is something wrong with this. I don't know if it's part dementia. I don't know if it's schizophrenia, but it's something, because my man can't even talk. He can't talk. He starts rambling. He's one step behind Mitch McConnell, who comes on, Mr. Turtleman, and goes, that's next. The things that we are seeing on his neck, on his hands, listen, I already know what all that stuff looks like.
All right, I want to jump to another part of the war-ish challenge. What do you have to say for, well, initially, 47 said, we don't need other countries' help.
Yeah.
And then he says, we need your help. And then some are just slightly like, what's going on with that? And if you were, okay, I'm in Canada, both you in the United States, what would you tell Canadian government and governments around the world about them being asked, should they help?
You're asking us?
Yes.
Us? Hell no. Don't help us.
And not only that, the disrespect in asking, just what I told you with the Ukrainian leadership, the sheer audacity of you talking about shithole countries and disrespecting other world leaders who are supposed to be your peers, and you come begging after you done basically told them to kiss your ass.
And from a humanitarian aspect as well, if we look at, that now what they have done is said to Zambia, unless you give us your minerals, we're not giving you any more AIDS medications.
So yeah, basically we're going to kill you.
Right. So just from a humanitarian perspective, you should say no. Just from the perspective that they are doing these types of things in different countries, but then, oh, can you help us fight? If you say yes, you are aiding and abetting.
Yes.
Okay.
But I honestly think, in my opinion, and I hope that I'm right, because there is really, there's no numbers or any proof for me to say that this is actually happening. My prayer is that the EU is actually doing something behind closed doors. They know that NATO is in a very precarious situation with this madman that is running our country. And I honestly am praying, because some things you can't do out in public. You have to do it in the dark. Yeah. And we've always said that here. The American public and people don't necessarily need to know every move that you're doing. It doesn't serve the purpose. My prayer, and from what I'm hearing from many of these countries that are turning around going, have you lost your mind? Because they're not saying that, but literally, and if you look at them in the face, they are saying, if you have lost your cotton picking mind, there's no way we're helping you. Is my prayer that is behind closed doors, something is being done.
Well, I think they're going to come. They're going to be, I think there's limited. I don't think they want to send troops in there. But that's a whole other conversation. So we got some comments here. Someone saying black fatigue is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We's tired.
And then another viewer says here, as a Gen X, 46-year-old European, I will tell you this: stop bombing and killing people for decades, and maybe they will stop hating the United States.
That part.
Absolutely.
That part.
Absolutely.
Another person says 47 is America. 47 is racism personified. We have that here. You can put that up, producer. And then another person saying, what? 200 billion US dollars?
That's a start, y'all.
From where? Yeah, that's the bare minimum. That's the base. Because if they get that, it's going to be more.
Okay, another person here saying NATO was bought. Another person saying America is weak. Regina says cluster F of international disasters from this war is like watching a row of dominoes collapsing. So much evil in this administration.
And we didn't have to be here.
No.
This was completely avoidable. And you know what? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No.
Two more. If I can interrupt quickly.
Yeah.
Another person here saying racism will destroy America.
It already has.
I also just want to remind people, Hey, if we are running a poll right now, so there's a lot of people watching right now. So just want to encourage, simple question. Do you agree with the Pentagon getting $200 billion for the Iran war? So either press 1 for yes or 2 for no. We will keep tabulating the poll as you're watching. So we'll continue on with topic because this has seemed to fire up a lot of the live viewers. So continue on also, ladies.
Yeah, I wanted to say that, I can't even just blame this on where we are now with this administration.
Right.
It's blatant and it's overt, but I can't say that this is not who we've been the entire time we've been in existence. Unfortunately, this is who we have always been. And we've allowed, it's like when people, I keep using examples, but the bully in school is only allowed to be a bully because people allow themselves to be bullied. And I know it's not as simple as that, but that's where it starts. So what happens when people decide we're tired of the bully? They band together and they beat the hell out of the bully. But that really hasn't happened yet. Maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year that the bully gets beat up, that people are tired of them taking the lunch money and they're like, you know what? Meet me outside at 3:00. So I can't blame just this administration. They've exacerbated it to astronomical heights, but unfortunately, this is who this country has always been. Bullying, rude. I mean, this was the basis. You talk about the Constitution. When you have a Constitution that doesn't apply to everyone, by default, you're starting off on the wrong foot.
I've always told y'all this foundation was never built on solid. It's just completely sinking sand.
Sand and fall.
Because of that, that's right. That's why it will never stand the way that it is. It was already divided before it was even created. It was a takeover, hostile takeover from the very beginning. This land was never ours. It was the Native Americans, and even now they're trying to prove and trying to get them out of the country. How you gonna get somebody out of the country who belong here? Who was here long before you? This was never built on solid foundational principles. But honestly, when you think about it, y'all, what country ever was?
Yeah, very true. Very true. But we also have to look at, and some people may not like this, when have I ever cared? We also have to look at the foundations of this country and who actually founded it. Were these the best of the best that came from England to... There were not. The people, so when you have a shaky foundation, when you have people that are not the best of the best, and they can tell you any religious freedom story they like, the stats speak for themselves. Of course, you are going to have a shaky foundation when you have people that are not the best founding something.
The book that I was reading on that was absolutely fabulous. I can't think of the title right now. I hope it comes back to me. I'll probably try to look it up while we're talking. But it definitely went through all the facts of who was sent over here to basically be the test participants.
They weren't
Fulbright scholars. The worst of the worst. And a lot of that is not talked about in history. But I really love the fact that we are in a period of time where true history is actually being told. You just have to go and seek it.
Unless you're in the state of Florida or Texas.
Oh, baby. You know how I feel about them two.
Do I have permission to just catch up with comments?
Absolutely.
All right. So one person says, Iran with nukes, very bad. But that leads me to a question. Who is supposed to say who's supposed to have nukes and who isn't?
Well, and that's exactly the point.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. That's exactly the point. Anybody who knows me, I'm very anti-weapon. So some people, fine, Second Amendment, that's not what I like. And I don't think, in my opinion, why do you need that if everything is okay? Because I've never heard of anybody being saved by somebody having usually it makes the situation worse. That's a different thing altogether. But who is to say who should have? I don't believe in anybody having those types of weapons. For what? To obliterate, why? What? So you do it. Congratulations. Now what? Now what? There is no good result that comes from that. But if that's the thing, who are you to tell people not to enrich uranium? Who are you to tell people that they shouldn't have nuclear weapons? Is it because you're fearful that it will be used against you because you haven't been acting fine and upright? You know, that's probably what it is. So rather than poke the bear, why not? And see, this is why you have to have sensible people in charge. And unfortunately, right now, we don't.
That's right. That's right. Now, that book I was telling you about is called White Trash by Nancy Eisenberg. It is highly recommended. It is a really great book.
So the name of the book is just called White Trash.
White Trash.
Wow. That's a very wide topic. Wow. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me. The comments are just out of bounds right now. So just let me just catch up for a second here with comments. All right, so people, if I miss any of your comments, it's my head, not my heart. But let me catch up. Someone says 47 is, I'll just say, a donkey. They said. All right, next up.
That's being polite.
Says, he put all the world in a miserable situation.
Yes.
Another person says, that's why I say welcome to America, and they have America not with a C, but 3 Ks. Another person says it's all crumbling quickly. Another person again saying full fuel prices high, groceries, rent, everything is all-time high due to the oil supply broken. Another person says every world empire has been judged by God. Now it's America's turn.
Don't forget, we're babies. I keep telling y'all that. We are babies in the world order. We're only 250 years old. When you look at world history, you see Europe has been around for centuries.
China has been around for 5,000 years, and they expect to be around for 5,000 more. Remember?
Yep. There you go. So we aren't even toddlers yet.
Okay. Continued comments. Another person says the world's greatest problems are colonizers. North Korea. Another person says North Korea ain't used them on anybody. Talk about nuclear missiles. The other person says Iran do not have nukes now. They were developing and do generate nuclear energy. Another person says the only way to destroy evil is with good. Throughout human history, we've been given this choice. We must stand united. Another person says Babylon is falling. Another person says uranium enrichment at 60% is weapons grade. Mm-hmm. Another person says he attacked Iran due to Israel provocation. Mm-hmm. Another person says here, let's not give so much credit to Iran as if they haven't been sponsoring terrorist organizations for years.
Oh, 100. Listen, when you look at these types of things, this is not to say that they are fine and upright governments. Not at all. Nobody is saying that Venezuela, that Maduro in Venezuela was great. Nobody is saying that the Cuban government is fantastic. Nobody is claiming that Iran has a great, nobody is saying that. But there are two things can exist at the same time. Exactly. You can have a terrible government that is pure evil and still not have the right to tell people how to do things. So two things can exist at the same time.
But apparently we're Satanists, Dr. Tachi.
Okay, continuing on with more comments. Saying Israel someone saying Israel is the baddies. Another person saying enlightened beings who's a regular here. Love First says, we got the cult riled up.
Listen, the cult. And then, I think this is another thing. And I got some inspiration and I was writing a piece for Substack. So I got some inspiration. One thing that we have to remember is that even though some are cult members, a lot are bots. And I keep watching people argue back and forth. I was like, my friend, will you just click on their picture? They have 0 followers. It's a bot. So I think in terms of keeping our sanity, because this is another thing we have to do, keep your sanity. Don't argue with bots. And if it is too much for you to constantly expose yourselves to these messages, don't. Know just enough so that you know what's happening in the world, but don't make it your life's mission to every minute have notifications going off to know what's going, because that you're only as good as you are sane. Okay, so don't drive yourself off a bridge because of all of this, and take care of your health.
That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
And just by the way, guys, this week, Meta just got caught creating bots, AI bots for Discord.
Okay, so this has been out. This is interesting. You family got a lot of people going on. Hold on. So let's go back here. Someone's saying, did Iran attack any Western country in the first place? And another person saying they are not as terrible as America. Another person saying,
I agree.
War is evil. It's simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just see. Oh my gosh, there's so much. Okay, someone's saying the cult loves pedophiles. I don't know about that. Another person saying Israel after Arabs from decades, Palestine, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and now Iran. The greater Israel agenda, chosen land. Here's someone saying disagreeing equaling bot. Very close-minded for such enlightened beings. Probably why you are also incorrect. Oh, okay.
Does that make any sense?
You don't want to mess with enlightened beings. Don't poke the bear.
No, exactly.
This moderating today has been out of bounds.
But you know what? I think
but it's fun.
Yeah, it's a good thing. I think that is the thing about having freedom of speech and being able to
media.
Now that and media, independent media, absolutely. The fact that you're able to have these things. Now, there are some people who just say any damn thing, and it's like, please go on somewhere and have several seats. But then there's people, even if you disagree with our points of view, I think that's okay. But the fact that you are open to hear other points of view, that I think that is the wonderful thing about this. But I think, all of us in this country are a little bit tired of open points of view where we are now. So we're like, damn it, I don't want to hear anything about unless it's this. So, I mean, and that's the dangerous thing about that. We have gotten ourselves to the point where we don't even want to be bothered with the opposing points of view because of where we're like, I know I don't.
Right.
Everybody but shut up. I don't care. And before it'd be like, okay, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't agree. Now I'm like, you're not entitled to your opinion. When they go low, I throw rocks. That's where we are now.
Yes.
Right? And it's unfortunate.
That's right. But we've been screaming these facts all along, and we were labeled nuts. But now that all of this stuff that is absolutely coming out, you're seeing this. Here on this channel, we've always told you, we've always been open to hearing what you have to say. When you come in with complete hatred, that's a different thing. The fact that you can at least have a conversation on a lot of the points, that we can respect. But to be honest, I'm about what, 99%? We've been on point.
There's a comment there in terms of,
let me catch up. And I've been doing this show for a long time, and I've been very rare to say, let me catch up. So comment here. No one wants to say it, but this all very well might be white supremacy's last stand. I know it sounds deep, but it's kind of obvious. Next person says, taxpayers pay for the price of war. Also, Iran has been trying to attack, has been attacking Israel right along. Also says 47 is a pedophile. If you defend 47, you are a pedophile. Okay. Another person says most of us blacks have been doing good. Forgive, smile, head held high. Yet we are always done the worst. When will it be over? Will it ever be great for us? It is, we can only pray for salvation. Another person says, again, 47, and the American people should pay for 47's war. Also,
Obviously, that's
MAGA boats on the ground, blank division. I ain't gonna read that. Beautiful Brown says, correction, prepare for salvation. I got that. Another person says, well said, my beautiful black queen. The question that you just asked about who has the right to control or to stop any country shouldn't have any weapons or should not have any weapons. You said the same thing twice. Okay. Another
we
person.
understand. Sometimes
we get it.
Your brain goes so fast. You type it.
Okay. It happens. It happens. We get it. Thank you.
Another person says only descendants of colonizers would disagree with this beautiful plan. Oh, another. It's also two countries' leaders fight wars while the common people pay the price.
Yeah. Can I speak to that?
Go
I think
ahead.
this is the thing that bothers me the most. When you look at in all countries, but let me speak about the US because this is where we are right now. People are working 2 and 3 jobs. People go to school to better themselves. Somebody may have just bought a new home or built a new home from the ground up that Lala sold them, right? People may be learning music, learning to sing, going on tour. Okay, Jill Scott just came out with a new album. Why am I saying this? Because this is life. This is all people want to do. This is what people in this country want to do. But you have most people just want to be. I guarantee you, nobody is with the foolishness. Most people just want to be and to live life. But what happens is when you have a regime like this that forces us to live the lives they want us to live, it's so sad because you worked super hard. You paid taxes. Most people are paying taxes. Even the people they claim are like illegal immigrants are paying taxes. So everybody pays taxes. And what do you do instead of being good stewards of the money that we pay for the taxes? You squander it on things like this. It's like, I'm going to give another example. You get a credit card, right? Your parents, when you're young, they give you a credit card and say, okay, well, only use this for emergencies, right? You didn't ask permission. You went and bought a Louis Vuitton bag for like almost $2,000, and now you owe it. You've squandered your parents' good money without any regard for them because you wanted that Louis Vuitton purse. Okay, so if we connect this there, you had no regard for all of us that are paying into the system and elected those of you to be good stewards of the money we pay. We pay because we believe in this experiment called America, in this experiment called the US. And you want to pay because, look, I don't mind paying taxes. People are like, oh, we need less. I don't mind if I see where it's going. But if I'm paying you taxes, I better not see near a damn pothole or anything. Okay, so I have no problem doing this. And I think the majority of people don't have a problem paying taxes and contributing to the common good of this nation if we see what the hell you're doing with it. And right now, you are not proving to be a good steward of our money. And this is why people are upset.
Let me get back to more comments.
Please do.
This is oh boy, this is okay. So let's do this. So someone says here, there's no loyalty among criminals in high places, period.
Amen.
All right. Another person says, Iran are not Arabs. Small populations in the Arwas are Arabs. They are against Iran because they are Muslims and they have the size, geography, and leadership that can flatten Israel without the U.S. and nukes. Okay. Another person says Jews are settlers in Palestine and other Middle Eastern countries. There was a Palestine before. The Jews were refugees and now they become occupiers. Another person says, wasn't Iran an existential threat for Israel? Another person says, if people of America do not want to perish to this war, remove 47 immediately. Another person says, how many times has 47 said they'd obliterated all their weapons, yet they are still launching drones and so on? How the blank can we believe anything 47 says again? Well, a lot of people say, how would you ever want to believe him in the first place? But that's whole, And he says, another person says, 47 cares more about the Israel, not to the people of America. So you're probably saying he cares more about the people of Israel than America.
Oh, no, he cares about the resorts that he could be. He doesn't care about them either. This all boils down to money. How many times has he said, "Yeah, you can make a nice resort over there"? He wants to build a sandals resort, and I'm exaggerating, but he wants like a sandals or beaches resort.
No, you're not.
Well, in terms of it being sandals, but that's what it all boils down to. That, but he doesn't have the critical thinking skills to know that when you do things like this, it has deeper implications. Who's going to come and stay there? Pretend you did it and it worked. Who's going to come and stay there? You have created such a dangerous situation for people. I really don't think, I know they don't care, but I really think they also don't know. And that comes from American exceptionalism. We're thinking we're so great and nothing we do is wrong and we can continue to do whatever we like. And so this is why we go into things head first and think, oh, it will work out because we're Americans. It reminds me of, I remember when I was in 8th grade, we read Lord of the Flies. And that still haunts me to this day.
I know.
And so we read Lord of the Flies and then we saw the movie. So we always read a book and then we saw the movie. And I remember when they got shipwrecked or plane wrecked on that island, what the leader, was it not Piggy, but one of the leaders said, "We'll be okay because the British are best at everything." That's what this reminds me of. We're going to do it because Americans are best at everything.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Ooh,
let me go back in. There's a lot of people watching live right now, and especially there is a poll here. Do you agree with the Pentagon's getting $200 billion for Iran war? So either press 1 for yes or 2 for no, and enter in the comments section, because once we leave this topic, we'll show the poll and we'll move on to another conversation now. But obviously, the comments going, you don't want us to stop chatting on this, so we'll chat on it for another few moments, and we're gonna move on to something else. So someone says here, North Korea has nukes, but yet it said Iran is the bigger threat. Is it really about nukes or is it about Iran's oil?
I love the audience. I have to say this. I love the audience.
Right. Okay. Another person, says, if colonizers want you to believe that 1 + 1 = 3, they will beat you down with propaganda until you believe.
Oh, yeah. And that's happening right before our eyes.
Another person says, war always creates destruction, but some countries doesn't learn through easy diplomacy. Also, 47 is going crazy with wars. He wished for New Year's was peace.
Remember, he wanted a peace prize. He wants that too.
Exactly. Okay, another person says 47 is quick to throw a temper tantrum when his allies won't get involved. I pray common sense prevails at the next elections, but I highly doubt it. Interesting. Here's another person says to Dr. Tachi, says sandals would be classier than any 47 property.
Well,
and then he says, I'm not going to say let's just say my backside is classier than any Trump 47 policy. All right, good. Some people are voting. Good. Okay, another person says here, hi, people. People will stay there because they have short memories. Let's see. 47 says now 47 is stuck in Iran due to Israel not winning nor losing. Iran is kicking their as equals. I think I know what you want to say, but okay. Let's see. This is out of bounds. Let me just see. Another person says war based on blackmail, end of story. And I don't know that one.
Yeah. Oh no, yes it is.
Yeah.
Yes it is.
Somebody has something on somebody.
Okay, another person says the nuclear threat is real. Some countries should be disarmed, like why the blank North Korea has nukes, similarly Pakistan. Why should any country have nukes?
Yeah, I don't agree with anybody having this. It's
just a thought. Okay. And then one other person says Obama won Nobel Peace Prize. Okay. Well, but here's this gentleman says, this person, I'm British, but I worry for the American people for the future. 47 has put a target, and the American people will suffer for his decision to go to war.
Thank you for that. But you know what? Sometimes you just have to let people learn. And say that's what you get.
Okay.
It's unfortunate.
And then, okay, these last three comments, and we're going to move on to another conversation topic. First of all, the CIA was created in 1947, Israel in 1948, Mossad 1949. Mossad's motto, by the way of deception, thou shalt make war. Sign of end of times. Widespread deception, wars. Then another person says, no country should have the nukes. And then MOP, it's about the Epstein files.
Of course it is. Ooh, everything goes back to the files.
Come on, Songbird. Listen.
Okay, I'm going to stop because the comments keep on going. We do have one or two other conversation pieces we want to get to. And again, I'm going to give 30 seconds for people to vote on this. So do you agree with Pentagon getting $200 billion for Iran war? 1 yes, 2 no. So I'm going to give you a few more seconds, family. Then we're going to close the poll, give the results, and go to another story. So if you don't vote, you don't vote now. So all right, I'm going to close the poll because I don't see anyone voting, and let's give our final results. 88% say no, they don't think the Pentagon should get it, and only 13% say they should get it. There you go. All right. We are going to move to another story. All right. So, and thank you everyone for your comments. They're appreciated and not taken for granted. Even the ones that we go, you know, we get you. All right. So we've got another conversation piece coming up. We got about a 2-minute and 30-second video to introduce it to y'all. And hey, please stand by and comment. So here we go. And I think we'll rile up another bunch of people with this one. Here we go.
Imagine the president of the United States saying with a straight face that he thinks he can take another country, that he can do anything he wants with an entire island of more than 10 million people. That's not a movie script. That's Donald Trump talking about Cuba like it's a piece of property he can just add to his portfolio. What Trump is saying, Trump has floated the idea that he'll have the honor of taking Cuba, suggesting the island is some kind of prize that naturally belongs under American control. He hints that he could free it or take it, treating both options like just different labels on the same raw power move. When he says he can do anything he wants with Cuba, he's sending a clear message that U.S. power in the Caribbean is so absolute, Cuban sovereignty is optional. The reality check. But that's not how law or reality actually works. Under modern international law, you cannot just seize another country's territory because you're stronger. Using force to grab land is considered aggression, not a normal policy choice. Inside the United States, presidents do have broad foreign policy powers. They can impose sanctions, tighten embargoes, recognize or isolate governments, even authorize some limited military actions. What they cannot legally do is wake up one day, decide I'm taking that island and unilaterally invade, annex the territory, and rewrite another nation's future on a whim. The history in the background. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. The U.S. has tried to control Cuba for more than a century, from military occupation after the Spanish-American War, to forcing limits on Cuban sovereignty, to the long embargo and covert attempts to topple its government. So when Trump talks about taking Cuba, he's tapping into a very old imperial fantasy that Cuba is ours to manage and Cubans are spectators in their own story. What he can do versus what he wants. So, can Trump really take Cuba and do whatever he wants with the island, legally and practically? No. What he can do, and what should worry us, is use America's economic and military leverage to squeeze Cuba, deepen ordinary people's suffering, and normalize the language of conquest until it stops shocking us. Because the real danger isn't just one man's fantasy of taking an island. It's a president who talks like other nations are trophies, and a public that gets too numb to push back.
All right, our next conversation piece. 47 says he can, quote, take, unquote, Cuba. Can he really do whatever he wants with the island? And before the ladies chat, another poll. Here we go. Do you think that 47 will, quote, take, unquote, Cuba? Vote 1 for yes, 2 for no. Ladies, Cuba.
No.
For it.
No, he cannot legally just do whatever he wants with Cuba because he feels like he's saying it out loud. This is his wet dream. He has lots of them. He has a wet dream of taking every country that he wants, because what did he say in that statement? He literally said they have beautiful beaches. We already talked about that. They're in trouble, but they got beautiful beaches, so I could just take that over just because I want to. I can do anything I want. Why? Because it looks like everything that he's ever wanted, he's doing. And then we're all left scrambling like the little ants around the sugar pile, right? So this kind of language is not just reckless. It's literally the language of a man talking as if sovereignty and law and limits only exist in other people's worlds. And I can't say that people have not allowed him to do that. Cuba is a sovereign country. The U.S. president does not get to seize an island like he's calling all the dibs for beachfront property. Because look, they already got plans for Gaza. They already got plans that they want to fire Iran. Jeff Kushner's running all that. So any actual attempt to invade or annex or military takeover of Cuba would crash directly with the Congress. But Congress is just laying back, screaming, help, he doing thing. Congress, and then the Republicans are like, yeah, he doing things. Oh God, he's doing things, but we're gonna back him. He's ours. I still stand with him. That's mine, right? So we cannot do this. We've already done things like this in Venezuela. Nobody's even talking about that anymore. This idiot didn't even know that Puerto Rico was still a part of ours. So that tells a whole lot about the story and the state of mind that he's in. He's talking like he's some kind of strong man who's untouchable. The military that already are stretched to their limits, and we are begging the ones who have retired or who have been let go to come back, are going to be put in harm's way again. And this is institutional whiplash to me. I'm so tired every day that I have to get up and have to fight. I have put my phone down so many times. I don't even look at my phone till at least noon now. I need to protect my peace because every day it's another mad craziness that's going on. This is nothing but going back to world power and being dominant over the whole world. And this is why I really reject the fact that people are laughing this off, because it's not funny. This is another Trump moment. No, words from a president who is supposed to be a president, not a madman, which he is, matter. Threats matter. Imperial language matters. So once a leader starts talking as though nations can be taken at will, like, you sunk my battleship, what's being tested is foreign policy. And at what point is that going to make the American public and the world truly stand up to this man who's throwing a tantrum and saying, it's my ball, I take it home, I do whatever I want to? You can't do this. You're not a fucking king. You are not the world leader. You are not the be all say all, especially when you're so unstable in the first place. You are a madman. And at some point, we all have to stand up to this. Includes the world. The whole world is involved in this now, not just the American people, but the world.
So two things. Oh, sorry. May I?
I'm done. We got to breathe now.
I think people are laughing in disbelief and laughing to keep from crying. I think that's what the laughter is about. You elect a capybara to office and expect a capybara to know about foreign policy. and this is what gets me. This is why when they talk about meritocracy, I'm like, please, we get out of my face with this meritocracy, because this, not just this man, but everybody there, because now usually intelligent people surround themselves with smart people smarter than them. But because he cannot have competition, that's not what he's done. And so there's a whole row of idiots that are a circle of idiots that are running things, and nobody knows anything, because this is not their forte. Maybe they knew a little bit of something about what they did before, but not this. So you're what's his name? The tech bros. You're just putting a whole bunch of tech bros in charge of different departments, and nobody knows anything. So because they don't know things, this is not something. I think we're thinking like he's a regular president, somebody that understands foreign policy, somebody that understands diplomacy, and he's not. He was I think he was an executive producer for The Apprentice, and he created The Apprentice. That's what he knows. So he's shuffling companies. He's looking at countries like he's shuffling companies, like he's trying to acquire companies. That's what this is. And anybody who thinks otherwise is frankly quite daft. So you put a capybara in office, expect that only knows how to destroy companies because you've been bankrupt 7 times. And then we expect great things from it. Doesn't make any sense. Look, I blame those who, because I'm not blaming myself, but I'm blaming the people who put him in office as well.
Yep.
As people were saying, you voted for this because you didn't, and you know why? Because you hated others more than you disliked him. That's right. Why you voted for him. You hate
through that. Mm-hmm.
Those of us on the side of right. You hate us more than you dislike him, despite whatever would befall the country. Well, that would be better than having. And now look at you. Now you're paying $17 per gallon for gas, and now you're just realizing. So you said something also about nobody's talking about Venezuela. Okay, and there's a very pointed reason for this. Why do you think Paramount was so insistent on acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery? CNN, right?
Bring it in. Bring it on.
Okay. So the thing is, we're not hearing about these things and nobody's talking about it because it's not in the news cycle anymore, because he or she that controls the news cycle can control what's being said. So yeah, we're not going to hear about it. All we have to do is look at CBS and what happened. CBS is under Paramount. That's now the Ellisons. It's very clear that they have now changed their slant and the way they report news. Look at Voice of America. Voice of America was supposed to be the news for places and people who could not get the true news, and it was from us. They fired everybody from Voice of America. They're looking to bring people back, but they fired them from Voice of America. They canceled the contract that they had with Reuters, and I think it was AP as well. And who did they do it with now? One America News, which is a conservative. So if we follow the breadcrumbs, you see exactly what's happening here and why we're not listening to things. I don't trust traditional media as far as I can throw them. I'm sorry. Some of you might be good. There are still great journalists that are within that system but are afraid to lose jobs. But I don't trust your outlet. And how can I trust what you report? So this to that point, that's why we're not hearing about it, because slowly in the public media, not public media because that's nonprofit, but for-profit media, they're getting acquired, bought up. The news agenda is changed, and we hear what they want us to hear.
Exactly. And this actually ties into our next topic. So I'm gonna lay back on that, but I'm it's all under one umbrella. It is all about controlling the narrative, controlling absolutely everything that you see. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't even watch American news anymore. There is no reason for me to. There are many outlets around the world that are telling the truth. And I believe if you started tapping into them, your eyes.
Yeah.
Y'all calling us woke, baby. You wait till you start seeing what's really happening in the world. Then who gonna be woke? Because y'all are not seeing not even a symbol full of the truth of what's going on.
Watch news from outside the US. Definitely watch independent news. This is where you can still get, and I've always loved watching news from outside of the US because there's a completely different perspective that you get because they are looking from the outside. So you're going to get a level of objectivity, depending on who you're listening to, a level of objectivity and facts. And that's what you want. News and media has become way too partisan in this country. And it didn't used to be like that. Walter Cronkite is not happy right now. The ancestor of news, our ancestors in media are not happy.
As Dr. Tachi would say, may I interrupt? Because okay, I got a roll call, so here we go. Regina says, here's the current list of countries sending aid to Cuba: Russia, China, Brazil, Canada, Mexico, Italy, France, Spain, and the UK. This is an international, quote, FU, unquote, to 47 Rubio's colonizing agenda. Another person says, even a 5-year-old kid are more wise than 47. He's just a jerk. Another person says, someone need to free us and take him. Another person says, 47onomics. The people of Cuba want liberation. They don't want lives like they have. Modern international law isn't followed at all. So yes, 47 Medston probably says needs to take it over.
Whatever.
Well,
40. Regina says,
do you live in Miami?
I'll bring up the poll. I'm going to try to get through all these comments and you guys can comment because there's like a lot. So Regina says no on poll. I'll bring up the poll in just a second. Ash, someone says here, thank you for explaining. So you probably meant the video I showed at the beginning. Another person says Haiti is under U.S. control since July 28, 1915. Cuba won't be the first. Another person says a person says you can unalive someone in the middle of the street is a dangerous person.
Got that right.
Another person says 47 thinks the whole world is his father's property. He can do whatever he wants with them. He's just, I won't say that word. Next. 47 and his son-in-law want resorts in Gaza and Cuba.
Yes.
Another person says colonization has always been on white blood. Ask the real Americans living on a third world lifestyle in their colonial reservations. Another person says, well, 47 got overconfident after Venezuela. He thought that threatening Iran would be easy. Similarly, 47 is going after Cuba. I am pretty sure that he will, quote, free, unquote, Cuba. Another person says Russia just sent food and oil to Cuba. Also, another person saying, now La's been around for a while. She's never heard me take this long going through comments, so she's getting a break. He is showing that America allows him to do what he wants. Nothing Congress, the Supreme Court gonna do. A lot of them protecting their king. Another person, I believe 47, found out that he has terminal illness and he's just messing blanks before he's gone. Another person, Russia can't do anything to save Cuba. If 47 attempts to take Cuba, there's nothing stopping him. Here's a good comment here. Who is going to step up? Another comment. We are the world. Michael Jackson, R.I.P. Yep. Another person says, before electing 47, U.S. had a reputation in the world. Since he started this Iran war, everyone is laughing at him. Even in India, people are making fun of 47 in America. Another person says, Epstein files and no politicians in jail? Yep, a superpower is under occupation. Another person says, right there, girl. Another person says, the incompetent, lying, convicted felon told Venezuela to shut down Cuba's electricity. He wants them to take over Cuba because he wants to build beachfront condos and convert them into an island resort. We talked about this earlier. It has been said ICE will be at all the airports if dumpster doesn't get that.
No, if that's happening this week.
Yeah, it is happening on Monday. Next up, another person says, I stopped watching American probably news for this probably same reason. The Queen is speaking on, I believe, international news regarding the war than the U.S. news media. Okay, now I'll put up the poll again, and then we'll maybe take a few more comments and move on to the conversation piece. We are doing a poll on this. So do you think that 47 will take, unquote, Cuba? 1 yes, 2 no. Put it in the comments. Ladies, a few more moments on this, and we'll go to our final conversation topic. But anything else you wanted to say on Cuba?
Yeah, that.
There's a whole other, this thing is multi-layered. So in addition to individuals thinking they can just come in and do whatever the hell they like and take whatever they like, you also have this whole thing because, okay, so I'm in South Florida, which is North Cuba, basically.
Yes.
So I'm looking and hearing, different things when it comes to this. There's also, and has been for a while, there is a colorism problem, and there's a racism problem as well. And when you look here, and this is a whole different thing, but overwhelmingly, South Florida Cubans tend to vote Republican, and tend to sway Republican. And there's a whole lot of history as to why and all of that we don't need to get into. So I've heard, Cubans say, oh, well, yeah, they need to take over. It's a terrible. Nobody is saying that the regime is not terrible. In any of these, nobody is saying that. What we are saying is, where does it stop if you allow us to come in and do whatever we like? Where does it stop? It sets a precedent, just like with the court case. Well, you did it in this case, so we're going to do it here too. Where does it stop? That's the problem, and I think that's the dangerous slippery slope.
We sliding. We already sliding.
Listen, we have slid on that slip and slide wet banana. Remember that, anybody?
Yep.
We have slid all the way down.
Right. A few more comments we've got here. Someone saying here, new sub, great jobs, Queens and King. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Another person saying, I'll put it here. And then another person saying, BRICS is coming up strong. No more petrodollar, multicultural world. Another person says, yeah, watch Australia Sky News. Quote, oh no, that foreign news, just the foreign news. That agrees with me. Okay,
Jacob, we already see what direction you're going, Jacob. It's all right.
Well, but you know what? Let me just say, you don't want news that most people do tend to go toward information that they already agree with.
Yes.
There's no debating that. But the learned individual will listen to opposing views to make an informed decision about what to believe. So I don't think it does any good to only listen to what the people who just watch Fox News. To me, I'm like, I don't understand. You can't be learned. If that's the only news you watch, you can't be learned, because it's clear there is a bias. Okay. So a person who is actually really trying to understand the world will look at all sides and make an informed decision that way. Now, as I said, we're all tired of this nonsense, so we're tending to go a certain way because it's like, okay, I don't have time for the nonsense. But in normal circumstances, that's the way to become a media literate person.
Okay, I'm going to ask one question before we move to our last conversation topic. So okay, someone says here, I would like to ask you guys a question. What do you think probably this war will stop, and what will be the conclusion of this war? 47 is going to China. He has postponed that, by the way, and I feel he's going to declare victory. So last I heard, he has postponed it because of the war. So what do you think? And I guess it reverts back to our first conversation piece, but it's all related in some way. What do you think? When do you think this war is going to stop?
I don't think it's going to. You can't just automatically. He's already declared victory several times and we are still fighting. This is not something you start and stop like a faucet. You have set things in motion that are causing landslides. I do not think that this is stopping anytime soon. You are fighting with people who have nothing to lose and give infinity energy into what they do. You think you're gonna tap them out, baby? Not when they have that kind of mindset. So this isn't going to end anytime soon. And he can declare victory all he wants to, because actually the fact that this is still going on and we're still talking about it and the world is aligning in certain places is telling you that this is no time going to be over anytime soon. There is no victory. As a matter of fact, there is no victory ever in war. And the fact when you are losing lives.
Okay.
I agree. That's all I can say. I agree. I don't think this is something that will be over anytime soon. Again, we're not dealing with somebody who understands that you don't just say, okay, you can't just declare victory over that. And then we're also dealing with someone who doesn't understand diplomacy in different cultures. Like you said, they don't have anything to lose. They're like, you said what? You have to understand that there are certain cultures that don't take disrespect lightly, that this is part. So when you don't have a wide world view, this is what you get. Someone who thinks they can go any place and do whatever they like without repercussions. But there are repercussions now, aren't there? And they're all in over their heads. And they don't know what to do because they never planned for this. They were impulsive in this whole thing that, let's go to war tomorrow. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And they just did it without planning, and it was impulsive. And so there is no exit strategy. They don't know what to do. If he could leave now, I bet you he would. If he could leave and his face be saved, he would.
Okay. A few more comments and we're going to move to our next story. Got this here. Okay. So the colonizers, a comment here, the colonizers are losing their throne. Western endorsed imperialism is on life support.
Let it die.
We are assuming he'll bring our military back from home after a war. He has left so many government employees stranded in numerous countries. Do not trust him.
And told them, don't expect us to come and get you.
Yes, when all those people were stuck at the beginning, and see that, I mean, how selfish can you be? There are people Americans that live overseas, that work overseas, and live overseas and work for American companies. And the best you could do is like, well, you're on your own. When meanwhile, other countries were going to get their folks out of there. If that doesn't tell you that nobody gives a damn, I don't know what does.
Wow. Okay. Two more comments here. Says that fool doesn't know about victory. He only knows about violence and grabbing by the.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll leave it at that. And then another comment here. News is something that forms the initial mindset of an individual. Having different views really helps. Mm-hmm. Okay. I am going, let me just see here. Okay. Oh, yes, we got to bring that up. So the two more.
I was planning on it because that was ridiculous.
Okay. Okay. I'm thinking we do have another conversation topic. Do you want to save it till next week?
Save it.
Yeah, I think because that's a whole other conversation in itself. And I think we'll save it to next week. But here's some more comments here. Oh, wow. Okay. Someone says he does understand. He refuses to be diplomatic. He is just hateful.
Yes.
Another comment here. We are laughing at 47 here in Australia. Well, pleasure to have you watching here from Australia. And then this I was no surprise, but 47 disrespected Japan's prime minister yesterday by bringing up Pearl Harbor.
Yes, I saw that.
How disgusting. How absolutely disgusting.
But see, this is why I'm saying he doesn't understand. He doesn't get it. He doesn't care. But he also doesn't understand. He doesn't get it. He's behaving as if he is not a head of state, right? These are things that he would probably say normally to just regular people. A normal human being would adjust their behavior for the office they're in. He doesn't have that ability because he doesn't know and he doesn't understand. I don't know that some people understand that he is woefully unqualified to be in the office that he's in. And it's not just about education. It's also about mannerisms. It's also about understanding diplomacy. It's also about being worldly. That's what you need. You can argue that some of our other presidents did not exhibit that. That's fine. But this is the first time that somebody who was so woefully unqualified has been voted in. And it shows.
Twice.
Yes. And some people voted for him 3 times.
Okay. Yeah. So if people don't know the situation, I'll give it high level. 47 was met with the Japanese prime minister yesterday. And of course, the press asked him about what's going on with the war. And basically they asked him, like, were you surprised with the response that Iran is going? Yeah, really surprised. They took us off guard. And then he said, oh, it's compared. He said with the Japanese prime minister, just like how Japan caught us surprised by Pearl Harbor. Wow.
Yeah, he said something to the effect of like, Japan, you like surprises, because why didn't you tell us about Pearl Harbor? I was like, wow. First of all,
it just makes me sick to my stomach. Literally, I just got
that was
sick
interesting.
to my stomach.
Okay.
But, you know, for one, he doesn't respect women anyway at all.
No.
Period. So there
No.
was 2 levels to that. That basically was just a complete insult to her and a slap in her face, not just the country, but to her, because this is coming from a man who literally said he can grab anybody's pussy in the middle of the street. He could kill somebody.
Yeah,
he
the
could do
kill
whatever
part.
he wants to.
Yes.
So,
yes.
well, no, I mean, he still feels that way anyway, Dr. Vibe. Don't get it twisted now. Just because sometimes he says one thing don't mean that they don't intertwine. He could do either one. Is in his mind, he could do any one. And as long as his MAGA cult continues to draw things on their bellies, talking about pocket here, chump, okay, then we've got a problem. He has no regard for anybody, but especially women. They are trash to him. They are objects. They are to be used the way that he wants them to be used. That is very plain. He's been that way from the very beginning. So there is that was nothing but a slap 2 times. The slap to the Japanese people and the slap to their leader.
And the thing is, again, I'm going to point to the fact that he doesn't understand. The fact that the only thing he knows about Japan is Pearl Harbor shows that's all he knows. For him to bring it up, I'm like, well, that came out of left field, because that's all he knows. If that's the only common ground he can have there, that shows he's unqualified for this. And nobody can convince us otherwise.
So calling me a bleeding liberal does absolutely nothing for me. Because let me tell you something, sweetie, I'm proud to be, because that means I have compassion and I literally care for people in the world. So if that makes me such a bad person, I'll take it any day.
All right. We are gonna shut it down. Someone says,
I was looking
you made
forward to
an
the next
insult to
one.
bluegrass music. You can go ahead and take him on off, baby, because I know one thing. I'm from Kentucky. Bluegrass music, you don't stand for none of that shit. So bye.
all right.
Can the South secede, please?
Please.
And I live in the South, but can they secede? And just,
You know how I told you I like the Bugs Bunny cartoon. He get ready to go cut her.
like they cut off Florida, just cut off the whole South. Let them be their own country, since they like all of this. Please be on your own. We will, the Northerner, because I'm a Northerner originally, we will stop subsidizing you. California will stop subsidizing you. You can be on your own, because you all don't know how. Since you like this, please secede from the Union, because you are causing too many problems.
Okay. I'm just going to pick one or two more comments. We're out of here. So one person says, I guess 47, trying to build a 47 tower here on the Gold Coast in Australia. No one wants it here. And Michelle says, though, no, don't do that. Most Black Americans live in the South.
That is true. We will give you a all expenses paid passport to live any place in the North you want.
I love it.
Another comment here. That, I guess, speaking about the Japanese pride, that woman looked at him like he was turned her head, giggle, and said, "Fool, fool." All right.
She held it together. That's the difference between someone who understands the position that they're in and someone who is a complete idiot, a madman. She held it together.
And one last comment here. Japan is a country that always agreed to all the decisions taken by the U.S. It's really disrespectful. Japan has so many U.S. Army bases. They recently refused 47's offer to free the Strait of Hormuz.
And so this is another thing that you have done. You have made it less safe for Americans that are living all over the globe. But now I'm sure many countries are looking at, do we really need to have a base here for a country that could be such a threat? So and no other country has bases all over the world the same way the US does. And so I'm sure there are going to be talks of, this is more trouble than it's worth. Please do not collect go or collect $200. Do not pass go. Please take your base someplace else. So years of diplomacy and setting these things up has been crumbled and ruined by this group of people. This was work that was done well before you were even thought about, well before you were in office, and you've managed to dismantle it. Congratulations.
All right. I'm going to stop because the comments are still flowing in. We ain't going on forever, so we're going to stop. All right. We're going to stop. All right. I want to say thank everybody who came in live or on the replay. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of replays on this one. But I'll do some. Enlightened Being says, what a great show. Love the meltdown of people who just like to talk and not listen.
I live for a good meltdown. Thank you.
Another person here says, like Kamala Harris stated during her campaign, 47 doesn't respect the presidency nor the Oval Office.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Michelle says, we ain't leaving our land. Hashtag Gullah Geechee now.
Yeah, I get it. Gullah Geechee people, you are my people. So I get it. I'm joking, kind of not.
And then Regina says, love you guys. Thanks for tonight's show. Well, thank you so much. We got through it. All right. I think that's the end of it. And wow. All right. So as always, want to thank the ladies for staying for the whole thing, hanging tough. It's a good thing. But before they leave us, I don't know if they want to share their contact information after this one.
I ain't scared.
Pardon me?
I ain't scared.
Why have we ever been scared of any of that?
Before we go, first of all, one person who's not here, Aisha K. Staggers. Aisha K. She's on Instagram at AK Staggers. Medium, AK Staggers, medium.com. Blue Sky, AK Staggers, and Friendo Media. And also Substack. And you know what's crazy? All right. There's just a crazy right now. All right. Let's do Dr. Tachi. And made it easy now.
Yes. Yeah. So if you go to my link tree, which is right there, you will right here. Right? You'll be able to reach me on a bunch of different platforms. I do a show called Mediascope where I talk about media, tech, and pop culture. I also have a video segment called Be More-er, where I teach you to be better with video, live streams, and content creation. And I am the founder of IndieSoup Media, which is an independent network for independent content creators. Dr. Vibe and Lala are on there with this show, and we've got like 25 other creators that are making amazing content. So go to the link and you can check it all out.
Great. And how many subscribers?
Yeah, like over 28,000 now,
Thank you.
going towards 29. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, it's all right. I always got your back. And that makes
And
IndieSoup
in
Media. Go ahead.
I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
in 3 days on the 24th will be our second anniversary.
Yes. So realize, subscriber-wise, IndieSoup Media is in the top 4% of all, let me say that again, of all YouTube channels. Thank you again, Dr. Tachi.
Here I is. Listen, I like to make it easy. You can reach me at my website. It's laurakey.net. I do a lot with international real estate. I also do a lot with now helping you to up your business and your game with AI. I also have a fun Etsy store that I love, and it's kind of my little hobby to keep myself away from all the pressures of the world, and I create some fun things there. Please make sure that you go and visit that as well at Living the Lala Life. And then listen, Lala loves coffee. I don't normally ask people this stuff, but if you like what we're doing, you like our content, you also like some of the things that I'm putting out, I can have a coffee with you guys. So if you would like to donate to buy me a coffee, there is my link.
Wow. Okay, we did it all. There we go. And for myself, it's easy to get a hold of me. I'm just putting, man, audience, you made Dr. Vibe work today. Loy, I'm just telling you, and the funny thing is, I'm just trying to, how you can get, okay, this is how you can get a hold of me. Simple, taplink.cc/the_VIBESHOW.com. And I'm not trying to really do a number of things at once here because there were some things I didn't get a chance to share while you were doing here. So I've got music playing in the background and I just need to do these things. I just want to share the contact information for our family here. So I'm going to do it really quick and then we will sign it off. So there is, I think, some music playing in the background. So just allow me to take care of some stuff on how you can get a hold of, now behave yourselves when you're contacting them, all right? Behave. So also you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and also the Dr. Vibe Show website, the drvibeshow.com. That's how you can catch the replays. And what I'm doing in the comment section in real time, because you made me work today with all these comments. I didn't get a chance to contact information and where you can watch the replay. So we'll do that. I'm just going to share in the comments section where you can all the contact information and we'll be done. So here we go. All right. We'll do this. Music stops. Here we go. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes that gets smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history, but try to do both and make it better. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith and walk good.